Hi there, Nikki, your friendly female biker here, and the astute amongst you will have noticed there is no engine. This is my electric bike, and the reason I'm on this today is because I'm going to show you how to drop your bike, and therefore how not to drop your bike, assuming that you don't want to. So let me just get off. Actually, before I get off, the first thing is, if you're maneuvering your bike around, then if you're like me, you'll be on tippy toes like this, trying to push it back and maneuver it around on tippy toes when it's a lot heavier than this and you might still be wearing your helmet is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I know some people feel more confident maneuvering their bike when they're sitting on it, but personally I would get off, and I always hold the front brake when I'm getting on and off. I don't know if that's a good habit, but I do. And I would, if I'm wanting to move it backwards, I'd have my hand on the seat so that I can push the weight of the bike back with that hand. Also, if you're on a slope, you've then got a hand to control the front brake if you're moving forwards. You want to, let's put it in its stand, you want to keep the bike on your hip when you're moving it about, both forwards and backwards, so that you're not. I saw someone on Facebook the other day said she always moves her bike from this side in case the worst should happen and it falls away from her and it'll land on the stand. But then you've got to heave it all the way over to you onto your hip this way, and that just seems weird. So I would say move it from this way. If I'm just going a little way, this is not good advice, but I leave the stand down a little bit just so that I just move it back and plonk the stand down again. But if I'm manoeuvring it a long way, particularly if I'm going forward, I'll kick the stand up, because you don't want to catch it on the ground because that will make it fall. Okay, next thing, parking your bike. You want to try and predict in advance where you're going to park it. Aim for flat if you can find flat. Look out for patches of gravel to avoid, but if you have to cross gravel, boss it, you know, keep your elbows up and be confident. Don't wibble wobble around and expect to drop it, because that's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So yeah, and then if you find that you can't park somewhere flat, if my parking space means that I'm going to have to reverse it uphill, then I won't go forwards into a parking space. So if we imagine this is downhill, I'll ride past the space and then reverse my bike into the slot, stand down, and then I can pull away forwards. If you do have to leave your bike, wouldn't it be great if we could pick up a motorbike like that? If you do have to park your bike on a downhill, there's a chance it could roll forward off the stand and fall over. So you want to leave it in gear. Obviously this doesn't have gears like that, but yeah, I would keep it in first when I park and hit the kill switch or turn the key to switch it off in gear, and then you know it can't roll off its stand. Don't forget it's in gear though when you go to start up again, or it will lurch forward and land on the floor. No, it won't, apparently. I'm talking bollocks. Okay, why won't it?
You can't start it in gear unless you pull the clutch in.
Ah, true that. Also, if you have a bike that you can start with the stand down, don't ride off with the stand down. Most bikes you can't do that anymore, can you? Anyway, next thing I was going to say was manoeuvring at low speed. U-turns are something that lots of you are scared of. They're something I see a lot of questions about. I hate them too. Little tips for U-turns: you want to be looking where you're going. What?
Stand.
I know the stand's down. Normally on a motorbike it's further forward and easy to put up. Thanks, helpful husband. Yeah, on a U-turn, you want to be looking where you're going, head up. Don't look at the curb, or that is where you'll head. I don't think I've got enough room to do a U-turn here in my garden anyway, I'll probably fall off. But yeah, looking where you're going, head round and looking where you're going. You don't want to lean too much. I've seen people say, oh, just lean into the corner and go around. If you lean too much at that slow speed, you're going to drop it. You want to, if anything, weight the outside peg of the bike so that you're keeping the bike as upright as possible whilst turning around the corner. If you do need to use the brakes, don't use this one. Unless your wheel is straight, if you hit the front brake at this angle, you're going down. And that's why I'm using my push bike and not my actual bike. So if you need to slow at slow speeds, rear brake, which is here on this, but that will be your clutch. So yeah, rear brake at low speed, always when coming to stop at a junction. For me, it'll be front brake to scrub off my speed, and then as I approach the junction, it'll be rear brake. And then I only have one other thing to say, I think, and that is really, really don't want to drop your bike. That sounds ridiculous, but the last time I stuffed up and nearly dropped my bike, I was behind my cameraman husband at a junction and I thought he was pulling away. I wrongly assumed we were pulling out the junction, my fault, and we weren't. And I grabbed the front brake at the last minute and we were over. And I thought, past the point of return. And we're on intercom and I'm going, fuck, pardon the language, fuck. He said, what are you doing? And I said, I am not dropping my bike. And somehow, miraculously, through burning left leg, I managed to pull it back up again. Obviously, sometimes it happens. I've dropped my bike. We've all dropped our bikes. Anyone who says they haven't dropped their bike is either, I don't know, lying or they're not really a biker at all and they don't have a bike. Anyway, drop in the comments if you've got any other things. I'm sure I've forgotten things. I'm just checking my list. I had a little list. No, I think I've said everything I was going to say, but I'm sure there are still plenty of other bits of advice. Drop them in the comments and stay safe out there. Thank you.